Hey guys, it's 2:35 a.m. in Israel. I having problems. I'm having some issues getting sleep. I am getting interrupted sleep. Uh, I get some sleep, but then I wake up and then I fall asleep again and later hopefully it's working. I don't know. I'm completely out. Um, my sleep is all over the place. Uh, when I get alone, then when I'm alone and I sleep, then sometimes, I'm get overflowed with all kinds of thoughts, memories, and stuff like that. Um, if I could, well, I know that it's not a good thing to do. It's not a good thing to think about, but I mean, I know I've done everything I could have, but it's whatever's going on. It's like that, like there's no. It's not linear. It's not linear. The stages of grief. That's what they say anyway. Um, it's really not linear, although it was. It was not. It was it like I thought. I kept thinking that it wouldn't be a shock if my dad passes away. Um, like it would be um, like it would be because he was very sick, but even when you know that the person is very sick, once they actually pass away, it's very surreal because you talk, you talk. I took care of my dad, was his caregiver for the 1 month, month and a half, last month of his life. And I was with him 24/7. I slept uh, next to him because he just needed help with everything. And you're with somebody so intensively, and well, I knew my dad for almost 40 years. Once you are with this person for so long, then you get to know them a little bit better, and you talk to them all the time, and you laugh and you laugh and you enjoy, and you get mad sometimes, and you hear stories about things that you never knew even existed. And my dad was um, he had a hidden treasure filled with stories, with dad stories. And then one day, one evening, you just, you eat, you take your medicine, you say good night, and the next morning, that's it. You don't talk anymore. You can wake him up. So you have to you have to get the equivalent of 101. And that's it. One day a person is here, the next they're gone. It's such a simple truth. At the same time, it's the way of the world. It's the way of nature. And I keep telling myself that it's better that I have spent every moment up to the last one over better than if I would not be there when it happened. And still experiencing that moment does something to you. You've known a world you had from the day you are born. There is a world, there is an order of things in the cosmos in which there are two very particular people who care about you most in the world. In a sense, they're the only people who care about you in the world. That's mom and dad. And even when you see your dad frail and sick and in need of help, a dad who has always been the rock, the stable rock of the family, the man's man. And it's the opposite. I mean, it's not the same. You understand there is sickness in the world. It doesn't register that one day you talk to a person and the next day, and you see the person. The person is gone. Now I'm not a particularly religious person, although I believe in God. I believe that when we die, when we leave this world, the flesh, our soul leaves the flesh, and we leave something behind, but that something is what we do with that something is a matter of custom, because we have to respect what the vessel that carried us all throughout our life. But there is nothing there anymore. And the moments, until from that moment when the life ends, until you go through the religious ceremonies, right? It's because we need something orderly, something with rules, and something with something to put an order in the mess of this weird constellation, in this weird dynamic of one evening. A person is talking to you, and the next day they are gone. So in that regard, I am at peace with the Jewish customs that are very are very respectful towards the dead, and they are very, at least in my opinion, they are very considerate towards the family of the deceased, because once a Jewish person passes away, there is what is called the moment you rush. You have to give the person a proper burial very quickly as possible. And once he is buried, the person is buried, then you have to go and do the Shiva. Shiva is 7 days. Shiva is literally from the Hebrew. It's 7. It's a week. Those are 7 days in which the bereaved, the family, they sit in a house somewhere, and people come to give their condolences and be with them, to help them in this very immediate time between the departure of their beloved one and until they are welcome, until they are ready to start. In Hebrew, it's called lakum, kima, to rise up from the grief or from the bereavement and continue on with their lives. And today, in the morning, we rose up from the Shiva. So now we are supposed to continue on with our lives, and we will continue on with our lives because that's what happens. That's what my dad would want for me and for my mother, for my brother, everybody. And yeah, it's still 7 days are not enough, because once you go back home and there are no more people all the time around you, you know, all kinds of uncles and aunts and friends and colleagues and co-workers from 30 years ago, then you are by yourself. You go back to a home filled with objects, clothes, memories, old photos, film photos from the 90s, an empty couch, American Comfort couch, empty wheelchair, empty walker, empty prosthetic leg, a prosthetic leg not used. Things that remind you that a life has been lived here. Even if it was a life of, at the end of that life, it was a painful and life of suffering, it's still a life. And it's quite difficult. Although, again, it is something that will be just something we have to deal with. Having to deal with my dad's bureaucracy, which is insane. The night of the day of his death, I had to run all kinds of errands, so we will give him proper burial. So you have to get this death certificate, you have to get it to the funeral home, and you have to get another certificate, and you have to coordinate the rabbi that will come and will do the last rites. And of course, it's not exactly the last rites; it's something else in the Jewish faith in Hebrew. So you run errands while you are in complete shock, right? But maybe in a sense it's, I don't know, maybe it's good because you don't have time to process and think about the fact that you just lost your father, your loved one. If that's not your father, then it's somebody. The person who runs the errands is the person who is close to the deceased. But I'm not complaining about the how things are run by the institute of bidding farewell a Jewish person when they die in this world. I'm not really criticizing that because I have no criticism. It's a very respectful way to say goodbye to the person, to respect them, and uh, support the family that is bereaved and is saying goodbye to them. What is the difficult is the very sharp, like a knife, like a commando knife from Rambo 2, between the between the knife between the teeth in Rambo's teeth as he sneaks around in the Vietnamese jungle, kills some NVA. That sharp knife that cuts between the Shiva, and then you are back to routine. Now, nobody really expects you to just return to normal. People have some logic. People know that you've just experienced a profound loss and a tragedy in your life. And in a sense, thankfully, right now, it's in Israel and for all Jews around the world, it's today, actually, it's Passover. It's Passover evening, which is the Seder. It's the night of the Seder, where we meet with family and we read the Haggadah about how the Jewish people did the Exodus from Egypt. So it's a time of, first, people don't work, and there's some days off. And also, obviously, there's a pretty big war going on. By the way, during my dad's funeral, three fucking alarms, missile alarms, that they didn't give us. They didn't give us, the ability to start the eulogies. But somebody said, and I thought that myself, it's like, those were like, respect. It was like respect. You shoot 3 times, you fire 3 times at a funeral, and that was a volley of respect from the IRGC, right? Obviously, I'm kidding, but sorry. So now the real the world eludes me, but what I want to say is now the stage of acknowledging the loss, realizing the loss, dealing with the loss, living with the loss, it really begins, because there's no more a place where the people come and hug and comfort and send their condolences and tons of food. Let me tell you, tons of food. Although I barely ate because my appetite is pretty much shot up. I do eat enough to sustain my body, but you will offer me now, the world's best hamburger, and for me it would be, I don't know, like an omelet, like in a dry omelet in a dry in dry bread. And it's gonna be, we have to do what we have to do, right? We can only do our best. And I will do my best. Although my best is I'm smoking again. I keep telling myself that it's brief. It's during my bereavement, my initial bereavement. And speaking of, Richard James, Rachel's Ghost. Hey man, say hello to Rachel for me, please. Thank you. MLNJ, good to see you, man. I missed the stories. The stories with Wizard's grandmother. It's not in my place to. I don't use that term about anyone. I didn't receive the impression that he is an observant Jew, but everyone has their relationship with religion and God, and the way that he leads his life is his business. So I wouldn't be able to comment on that. Shalom uvracha. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Appreciate the words. First Blood 2. I'm not sure if First Blood 2 is Rambo 2, I think, or it's the one of the newer ones. But if it's 2, the one where he goes back to Vietnam to save some people, and the one where he carries two M60s, M60, like he double wheels the M60, I think, or one. Anyway, yeah, and he shoots the helicopter. That's a good movie. Like, in a sense, it's the quintessential 80s, mid 80s action movie, although my personal favorite, and I think the best action movie of the 80s is Commando with Arnold Schwarzenegger. But yeah, I mean Rambo is the maybe Rambo is the quintessential name for an when you wanna Rambo. I go Rambo. That's everybody says Rambo. They know it's like a one man killing war machine going against all the bad guys. Then that's Rambo for you, and that's Sly. Only Sly can do that. Although Arnold kills like I think 400 fucking people from Arius's army in Commando. It's a good film. Up there, along together with Chuck Norris. Also, my dad outlived Chuck Norris. I thought about that. Delta Force, Lee Marvin, directed, produced by Israelis, Menachem Golan, Yoram Globus. Good stuff. I'm gonna watch Delta Force soon. I really like that movie. Hey Floodland, I had a hard time mourning my parents' death. I had extra family bullshit to deal with. Fucked up with my stages of grief. Yeah, man. I mean, I had to do the bureaucratic thing, but thankfully I didn't have anything in particular to deal with my family. I did have just a lot of bureaucratic things to do while I am mourning, and let me tell you, it's fucking brutal. It's fucking brutal. You don't register the loss, and you have to start sending documents and this and that, this that, Marcelo was delusional, thinking he would be allowed to enter Israel. I don't know. Given that he does have, I believe he has an Israeli citizenship, right? Then that shouldn't be a problem for him. Israel is always open for Jews, especially for Israelis with Israeli blue passport. Just think that maybe he was delusional, thinking that he would actually be able to be here himself, right, during this war. But who knew that the war would start? Everybody had a suspicion that it would start, or as my father kept saying as we were waiting for his operation, he said, we all depend on the crazy redhead, right? What the crazy redhead does is what will determine everything. He runs the world, right? Forget about Russia, forget about North Korea, forget about China. In the end, it's Donald J. Trump, right? So, right. Well, I have, I have a mother. God bless her soul. May she live to. Sorry, God bless her soul is maybe it's a different meaning in English, but שתיבדל לחיים ארוכים. May she live long and last for many until 120, until 120 years of age in best of health and clear mind. And I have a brother. My brother is 8 years older than me. He's married. He has a child. His wife, my sister-in-law, she has 2 children for her previous marriage. So we have a family. Thank God, we have people to be with. First blood was Rambo 2, though. Yeah, I mean, again, it just turned into that the archetype of a one-man action film against everybody, which in a sense was still First Blood. It was also one man against the world, but there it was different because it was a movie, First Blood, the first Rambo from '82. It was a movie about America when it actually, that's my interpretation of that. It's America that is lost, is facing the loss of a war, having lost a war, a weird war, which is it had lost, and the returning of the veterans, right? There's one of my favorite electro pop, electro pop songs from the 80s is by the British artist Paul Hardcastle. 19. No, 19. In World War II, the average age of the combat soldier was 26. In Vietnam, it was 19. No, 19. You probably know that song if you are around for a while. One of my favorite songs. It has many versions in many languages, covers Japanese, German, Greek, you name it, French, German. It sounds really good in German. And there's a line, there's a line in that song. It's not actually a line. It's taken from some documentary from the 70s or the 80s about the Vietnam War, and they say none of them received the hero's welcome. None of them received the hero's welcome. None of them. And this is exactly what Rambo, First Blood, right? The OG, deals with, because he comes back, is a war hero. The guy fucking, it's Rambo. He's a war hero, and he's being, nobody cares for him. They think he's a punk. I mean, he's a and when you think about the men who returned from World War II, the men, and rightfully so, they were right, they were heroes. They brought down the Nazi beast. They saved the world. But in the Vietnam, what happened? And this is, I think, the strength of Rambo, because it shows the disillusioned American, the American society. I think it's in the Midwest, right? It's the little small town America that is always so proud and patriotic, and this is how you treat your veterans, and this is why the drama takes place. So there's something deeper to say about the shift, the thematic shift between Rambo 1, which is a deep film about America's coping with the loss, or the whatever result you want to call in the Vietnam War, something which has deeply affected America, and I believe it affects it to this day, between Rambo 2, which is, listen, okay, now we're going back. Uncle Sam is the sheriff again. We're going back. We're taking things. We're dealing with things. And then you have Rambo in Afghanistan, the third one. There's something about it that goes into the 90s, when you have those, again, You have the new again. You have Schwarzenegger. You have Steven Seagal. You have Bruce Willis. And this is a different type of action hero. After the fall of the wall, right? After the fall of the wall in 89, no more communism, at least on paper. What Fukushima, right? It caused the end of the. So it's very interesting. It's a very interesting question, thing to be talked about. I'm sure there are many YouTube videos analyzing this fascinating subject, and I do really find it fascinating. Rambo 2, that's what people call it, yeah. Trump is no longer earner, now he's menacing Rose Gold. Where do you rank RoboCop for 80s action? I was as a child, I was very scared of RoboCop. I wasn't scared of RoboCop like Murphy himself per se, the person, although he was menacing, right? I was scared of the what was the name of the robot, or no, MCP something, the big with two miniguns, and also there's a scene where somebody gets run over. You know what the one I'm in, and that was quite it was quite frightening to see for, I don't know, 6 or 7-year-old person, a kid like me. Having watched it in my adult life, RoboCop is definitely up there. I don't want to rank it, but it's definitely somewhere up there. It's a power fantasy about the law, the strong arm of the law. So it's not like unfiltered, no holds barred hero that, Rambo, like, that goes in guns blazing, akimbo, kills everybody. It's a cop, right? But the cop has to follow rules, and it just so happens that the cop is a motherfucking cyborg. It's a really good film. The soundtrack, Detroit, it's a little bit dystopian. Detroit deals with I'd buy that for $1, right? It's up there. I really like RoboCop, and I like the second one as well. I'm not sure about the third one. I should rewatch it and reevaluate my opinion. RoboCop was my favorite film for ages. Well, Thomas has a good taste. It's definitely quintessential 80s. I really like using the word quintessential, so please forgive me. I just like the way it rolls on the tongue. Quintessential. English is such an amazing language. Quintessential. Historic, good to see you, man. Greetings, old friend, and my condolences. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. I hope you're doing well and your family. My favorite 80s film is The Living Daylights. Interestingly, Bond allies with members of the Mujahideen in it. I haven't watched it. I'm ashamed to say I haven't watched all Bond films. I should watch it. I have time now, so I will watch it. I don't know what my favorite Bond film is. Maybe I should rewatch GoldenEye. I watched it as a kid when it was released, so I want to watch my watch there, my dad's watch. Um, A View to a Kill is definitely somewhere up there for me. Oof, that's such a great film. 1985, I believe, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. You know, the air balloon. You have you have Roger Moore, Christopher Walken, Grace Jones. I mean, a very complete action film. Paris, it just, I think it's the last one where Roger Moore portrayed Bond. Is one of my favorites. Actually, after Pierce, not Pierce, Connery. I should watch The Living Daylights. I should watch it. Let's see. The Living Daylights. It's from 87. Well, I know what I'm gonna watch tomorrow. Thank you for the recommendation, Floodland. Thank you. In retrospect, RoboCop is an amazing comedy. Why is it a comedy? Because the cop becomes cyborg and he says, "Respect the law, respect my authority." It's also very tragic in a sense because Murphy is a family man. He gets killed by what's his name, the bald guy. I forgot his name. I know his name, but I forgot it. Excuse me. I love Living Daylights. Dalton is my favorite Bond. I should watch it. I didn't watch a Dalton film. Obviously, I know Dalton, and if I'm not mistaken, he wears a 16610, a Royal Submariner 16610 in that movie, and maybe a Seiko as well. I know he also wears a Seiko Arnie in one of the films. Please let me know in the comments if I am mistaken or correct, because I know it happens in one of them. Commando is my all-time favorite film. That's something we have in common, Thomas. I had never seen anything like Arnie when he burst onto the scene. John Matrix living in the mountains, carrying the tree trunks on his shoulder. Yeah, and you have the James Horner soundtrack with the air drums. You know, the and Alyssa Milano is his daughter, and they're licking ice cream together. You don't see that level of machoism. You know, in a sense, it's like how the Greek, you know, they worship the body, the human body, and you see Arnold's. No, again, I don't want to sound like I'm just admiring, you know, the lengths into to which a person can go in, like being Mr. Universe or whatever. I don't know what's the. It's really it really lives. It really leaves you with something. That intro, right? When he carries the logs, and it's like, it's like you're taking the groceries, right, from your local Binko or I don't know, Asda or whatever you have. ED-209 was the droid. Yeah, that's the one with the two miniguns. And when there's a scene when they're in the office and it shoots somebody, I remember that, and I was like, "Oh shit, that's scary, man." I think RoboCop director also directed Starship Troopers. Let's see. Paul Verhoeven. Verhoeven. Yes, he did Starship Troopers and Basic Instinct and Total Recall. Yeah, this guy contributed profoundly to human culture. He did Starship Troopers, which is another movie, a film that I watched at the theater when I was 11 years old. And Starship Troopers, come on. Living Daylights is actually one of my favorite Bond films. I'm definitely watching that today, tomorrow, before the Seder. Dalton portrayed a tougher, more serious Bond compared to the late Roger Moore films. Interesting, because Roger Moore is, I remember that in The View to a Kill he was not like, I wouldn't say he was soft, but he was like, I don't know, he was more chill back, relaxed, as opposed to Connery in the first film was in like, he's spanking girls and he's like has all those those one-liners. I mean, in the sense, not the one-liner in the Arnie sense, but it's like he says all kinds of things. Just my favorite Roger Moore is For Your Eyes Only. I didn't watch that. Again, I'm not a big Bond fan. I mean, I appreciate Bond, right? But I do not really I didn't really watch them. A View to a Kill with Christopher Walken as Zorin, and Grace Jonas made it was awesome. Duran Duran theme tune, yeah. This is why you're here, Thomas, to remind me about that dance into the fire. Yeah, that's a really, really good one. I really used to. I love that song, and then I watched the movie, and then it linked up. It connected to the song, to the movie, to the song, to the movie. Really, really, really good stuff. Dance into the fire. Robocop effectively mocks American society and its sensibility of the time to a T. Interesting. What do you mean by that? Like it released, the first one was released in, if I'm not mistaken, I'm not mistaken because I know it was released in 1987. That's the final 2 years of the Reagan Reagan years. That's the Reagan administration. November 88, presidential elections, and then George Walker Bush Sr. gets elected. The wall comes down in 89. Interesting. If you want to expound on that, then I would be happy to hear and listen. Esther Eric? Just a second. I'll be right back. So let me tell me, Historic, what you mean? He wears he wears a Tag Heuer. Hello, low budget production. Good to see you, man. With a full lume dial in the living daylights. Let's see. Sorry, I don't have Lux or somebody or Eddie or Bateman, great guy to pull up anything for me, but I'm trying to see that. Okay, there it is. Let me pull it up. Pull it up now. Let's pull it up. Let's share screen. There it is. Is that it? Oh man, I love those forums. Okay. Okay, yeah. Beautiful. I'm sure this is very, very collectible. Fulham dial, it's a thing. Personally, I'm not into Fulham dials, but it's pretty cool. Not crazy about the bracelet, but if you're 007, then you can right. Dalton wore a tag in the Living Daylights. He wore a Rolex in the License to Kill. It's either 800. Let's see. Timothy Dalton, James Bond, Submariner. Let's see. James Bond was from. Okay, this is it. Remember in 1989, George Bush Sr. became president. Toyota launched a luxury brand called Lexus, and James Bond was still wearing a Rolex. If any of that strikes nostalgic bell in your heart, put down that giant gray Game Boy and pause your single of Love Shack. I fucking hate that song, by the way. Fellows is auctioning a Rolex Submariner from the James Bond film A License to Kill, and you're going to want to see this. The submarine in question, a reference 5513. That's a 515. Okay, that's a 5113. So he wore that. I thought that he wore a 16610, right? Maybe he wore multiple Rolex Submariners. I don't know. Dalton is my favorite Bond too. You believed he could kick ass and he was debonair and smart. He lacked humor though. Gonna have to take your word for it. I'm gonna watch the film and judge for myself, but it sounds interesting. For Your Eyes only features Chaim Topol as one of Bond's allies. Chaim Topol is a legendary Israeli actor from way back. He also he was the main. He correct me if I'm wrong. He portrayed the main character in Fiddler on the Roof. If I were a rich man. Da, 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 da. Good to know. Chaim Topol. Yeah, Chaim Topol was, he was a Hollywood royalty. He was a great actor. I'm gonna have to watch that now that you mentioned it. Robocop and Starship had jokey presentation of the greater society. Definitely they do. Definitely the way Verhoeven and the writers, script writers, that they display a dystopian future in a sense that criticizes American society. Although Starship Troopers, it takes place in Buenos Aires, right, or the Rico, that was his name, but it's like humanity is turns into this proto-fascist type of society, and you start wondering, why are the bugs? Why do they want to kill the humans? What happened to the bugs? I mean, the bugs are they sentient? Why do they want to kill the humans? And who was that actress in Starship Troopers? Denise Richards. Oh man. Oh man, Denise Richards, she was fucking hot in that movie. God damn. Let's share some eye candy of Denise Richards. My God, look at this. Denise Richards, ladies and gentlemen. 1997. This is 11 years old. Goes to the film theater, watches some bugs getting squashed, and watches this tremendous creation of God. I'm sure this was a global experience for all of us to witness this beauty. I do not recall her acting skills, but she was definitely very. She was a nice thing to look at. The Tag Night Overwatch is one of my dream watches. Well, I sincerely wish that you will acquire it one day. Personally, I've talked about it many times. I have the age 558, right? The 5000, the Seiko Arnie. It's been talked about so much, and I'm gonna talk about it for the rest of my days because that is the quintessential 80s Seiko for me. The Anna Digi layout, the fact that Arnie wears it, right? I should have it somewhere here. It's in one of my watch where I place my watches. Where is it? There it is. There it is. Sorry, it's dusty. Please forgive me. Wait. There it is. Still ticking since it left. I mean, obviously with battery replacements, but still ticking since it left the factory in July of 1983. I cannot show you the serial number, the production number, but it starts with 37, and I know my dad told me he bought it. He bought it in a New York, maybe a pawn shop, or I don't know, somewhere in New York City in 1984. And he wore it for many, many years. I think he wore it until 1996. That's when he bought another Seiko, which I'm going to show you now. And he gave the Arnie to my brother, who was enlisted into the army. My dad bought this watch. It's a pretty standard Seiko chronograph, quartz chronograph. Two-tone. The bezel is cannot be rotated, but it's a really nice, very 90s looking Seiko. Very. I used to wear it myself in the army. People always thought it was a Rolex. And I said, yeah, it's a Rolex. I mean, it's whatever you want it to be. It's a Daytona, okay? So my dad wore the Arnie, right? I'm gonna show you a picture right now. I have many pictures of my dad wearing the Arnie. So let's show one picture of dad with the Arnie. Wait a second. This is my dad. Can I upload an image? Yeah. So this is my dad. 1987, I believe. He's in Germany. He was importing, exporting wines from Israel to Germany and Europe as a whole. And as you can see, he's wearing the Arnie. And he's next to a very nice German chick. You can see his red Marlboro Medium with a lighter, and he's doing some business. And that's my Arnie. That's the one I had. That's the one I have right here with me. I've had it since I was 16, and I'm gonna this and the Seamaster I currently have. I have it since it's those are watches that I will treasure and keep for the rest of my life. I have another image here. I hope you're still following me. Wait a second. There's another picture here. So this is my dad, and this is me in his arms, and the guy holding me is he's the guy who sent me this picture. He's my dad's best friend, and he's my godfather. This guy is like his brother from another mother. Seriously, he came to the Shiva, and we had a talk. Like, he talked to me, like what your father would want now. And you see, my dad is wearing the Arnie. And this is from 86. I'm a wee baby. See, my dad, yeah, he loved that. He loved that watch. Let's post another. I'll show you another image. Wait a second. It's really clunky. I wanna show you another image of my father holding me and wearing the Arnie. The Archie. Wait, I have to crop it. I'm not sure I want to show you my mom. I'm not sure she would like it. So I'm just gonna show you my dad and me. Okay, I want to crop it now. Nah, shit. Please be gentle with me. It's fucking almost 4 a.m. here. Okay, there it is. Now we can show you. Yeah, let me show you my dad and the Arnie and my godfather. Those are my mother's hands, and that's my dear godfather looking at me. Probably at the time he's planning his own little offspring. That's the guy who my dad introduced his wife to, and today, knock on wood, they have three beautiful children and two grandchildren. And that's my dad holding me, and you can see the Arnie, and you can see I'm raising my little hand. I'm probably trying to snatch the Arnie from his wrist. It will take 16 more years till I get it. I think my dad is wearing. He has an American Optical on his head. He was wearing. He always liked the good stuff. You know, my dad always got like the. He always used to say, buying cheap is buying expensive. If you want to buy something, then go for something good. Go for a firm. Go for something, not necessarily the most expensive thing in the world, but invest in something. So you have to think when you buy about you have to think about the service and the length of the life of the thing that you're buying, right? So don't buy cheap. That's something I took from my dad, and it proved itself. I think that's a very buy cheap, buy twice. By the way, hi Danny, thanks man, good to see you, man. Your watches have good stories behind them. Yeah. Definitely. You have to, right? So my dad, he wore that watch to bits. And that's the Arnie, right? That's the Arnie. Okay. When I grew up, and I saw that Arnie on his wrist, it really that's what made me fall in love with watches, because there's something rugged, something so, excuse my French, but it's so manly and masculine about this watch. It's just, it doesn't mess around. It's no holds barred, no black dial, white indices, has the analog, and the digi, that shroud, which obviously I have a replacement shroud, 3D printed, that I bought almost 10 years ago, and that rubber strap that broke. Obviously, it broke, but I mean, this watch, my dad wore it in wars. He wore it in wars. And it took everything. And my brother wore it in wars, in actual engagements between the PLO. My dad wore it in engagements with the PLO in Lebanon. And my brother wore it in engagements with the PLO, with Hamas in Gaza. Again, not going into political stuff, right? I'm just saying that this is a really... it's a combative watch, and it's been really, 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 it's really popular watch here in Israel. Many Israeli men in the 80s and the 90s wore it, and obviously all around the world, because it's just functional, right? It's just a functional watch. Now this watch, (2541.80). This one, the serial number places it around 98, 99. You cannot see it, but there's some beautiful patina. You cannot see it, but you will see it now, because I have a picture. I have a picture of that watch. Well, I cannot zoom in. Let me just a second. I'm gonna open it independently, and then oof, that's a good photo. That's a good photo. Share screen. Your dad was a handsome man. Thank you, Davey. Yeah, he was, actually. He was a handsome man. He was very handsome. He was handsome. There it is. Now that's dad's. Now my Seamaster. Now you can see that beautiful patina, right? And look at the red second, the tip of the second hand, the red, right? It didn't fade, which I find beautiful. It's been on his wrist since he bought it in 2001, 2002, maybe 2000, for a good price. He bargained with the salesman. He bought it new at the mall, the local mall. I have the box. I actually have the box. I'm sorry, it's very dusty, but I have it here. I'm gonna show it to you. Let me clean it a little, because let's be respectful towards the Omega Seamaster. You like Omega? I also have the instructions, the manual somewhere. But I don't think I have the papers. Not that I'm ever going to need the papers. I'm gonna keep this right, with me. And if I ever a female finds me adequate enough to procreate, then I will pass it on to my son or daughter. but as far as I can see right now, it's remaining with me. So this is the box. Very beautiful box. I think it's better than the boxes from the today's. I mean, today they have beautiful boxes, right? The wooden ones. But I mean this one, right? Oh, you have Omega here, and then you open it, and you have a little cushion, red, obviously, and you have a little Omega logo here. I have nothing else here, no papers, but again, they're probably somewhere here in my room. And I mean, this watch, I mean, it's looks like a little Christmas present box. Yeah, actually, that's very correct. That's very correct. It's a little present for my dad, you know. He bought it to himself. He was a very hard working man. He worked with steam boilers for many years. He walked into the steam boiler room and he maintained them and he sold parts, and reading the white dial on the Seiko chronograph was getting a little bit difficult for him, so he just bought an Omega and he wore it. From that day on, he never took it off, only for battery replacements. And when he went through procedures in the hospital, and I kept the Omega on me, I wore it. And when he woke up, well, he finished and give me back the watch. Where's my watch? And I would quickly put it on his wrist. He had neuropathy. I think that's how you pronounce it in English. It's where your fingers, your hands are very cold and you have pain. So I had to close the clasp on him and help him put it on and off. And I always helped him set the time right when the month was 30 days, or when we changed to daylight savings, and so on and so forth. And he wore this watch until the morning where he was rushed to the hospital, and they had to do something with his wrist, to put a Branula to try to give him a glucose shot. They didn't manage to, because it was very hard to find a vein, because he was diabetic and everything, and it was very hard. So I took the watch off. I said, you shouldn't. I mean, it happened already in 2 weeks before that. Then I went to pick it up from the house and brought it to the hospital because he, wanted it. But then I left it here in the house, and then he was rushed to the hospital, and he was unconscious. As far as his considered, he went to sleep, and that's it. And when I returned home that evening, and he passed away, then the watch was where I left it, and I thought about how it's gonna be when I wear it. Like, he used to joke around when I took it off from him. He used to say, he would joke around with the cute redhead nurse, which he wanted me to take out for a coffee. actually said, she's the one for you, she's your wife. And he said, you see, he's already taking my inheritance, jokingly. It was there on the olden, cabinet in the living room, and I put it on, and it felt right because I don't know, like, I don't want to wear anything else. I look at it and I see the the Omega Seamaster, the Omega Seamaster, the one that brought them back. GoldenEye, everything, yeah, James Bond, I don't care about that. I just know that this is functional, it's beautiful, it's sturdy, it's reliable, it's accurate, and it's my dad's. And he wore it everywhere, right? He worked very hard. He was a hard worker, and he didn't baby it. So you can see it has dings and marks, and those I don't know, stains or whatever you want to call it on the bezel. And actually the bezel doesn't rotate. I will get that fixed, but obviously I'm not gonna change anything on this. I'm gonna leave it exactly as it is. I just wanna make the bezel functional. By the way, the loom is still functional. Why shouldn't it be? Every nick, every scratch, every dent tells a story, although it's in pretty good condition, dent wise. Yeah, that's the Seamaster. That's my dad's Seamaster. It's surreal for me that I'm wearing it, because when I was younger and I didn't, I didn't have a big an adult job, and I didn't have a salary that could allow me to purchase a watch like this. Then sometimes, if I were lucky, I would get the ability to wear it for like 2 minutes and take a few shots. That was a good photo of your father. You couldn't see his face, but his apparently came through in addition to your description of him. Maybe you mean this one? Yeah. And now, in an instant, and without any big ceremony, the watch becomes mine. It's my dad's, but it's mine, with this one, that's all. He's wearing the Ani here. I showed it earlier. And that's him wearing the Ani in the Grüne Woche in Berlin, 1987, export-import wine expo, when he was a businessman. In one of his many, he was also, he did many things. He always looked for ways to provide for his family. Sorry, and he always did. My dad always did provide for us. Never left me needing anything, or my mom. Lived well, had a house, had a car. And he was the type of one of those men, boomers. You buy something, you buy it for life. You buy a watch, you don't replace it the next week with a new one. You wear it until it's either you give out or it gives out. A house, car, and smoked. Yeah, that's my car. That's my dad. My godfather. His eulogy from my dad. He said, Amir's dad. This is dad. He loved three things: smoking, his family, and driving. And that summarizes the person. Obviously, there's more to him, but that's what he liked. Those were his, I wouldn't say his passions, but that's what he liked. He was a tough man. He was very, very hard to convince him. If he even made a decision, then you can move mountains. You can't move him. That's a watch that has a true meaning to you. Yeah, it's the watch. The irony has a true meaning to me. It was worn when I was a baby, and this watch I grew up with it on my dad's wrist, and I always admired it, and um, I never could conceive in my mind that one day it will be mine, because whoever thinks that their dad will die, right? At least for me, it was the biggest fear of my life, that my dad or my mom, שתיבדל לחיים ארוכים, may she live long in sound mind and good health until 120 years old, that something would happen. For me, it was the biggest fear of my life, and I knew that it could happen because my dad was diabetic. And the fact that he is no longer with us is something that it doesn't sink in. Like I can rationally, I can logically, rationally, I am aware of it. But the fact that I will never hear his voice again, I will never talk to him, I will never hug him, I will never be able to sit down, talk to him about Formula One, Charles Bronson, politics, history, women, food, get advice, deadly advice. There's no advice like deadly advice. Dad's advice, It's something that's it takes time to process, and I'm sure that if you've experienced the loss of your dad, your mom, your dad, of a loved one, or anyone, actually, anyone really that is close to you, not necessarily just a family member, a friend, a close friend, a spouse, a girlfriend, a boyfriend, then you know what I mean. There is no words for it. Yeah, it's like I feel like there's this great void in my chest physically. There's something sitting on my chest, It's gonna be a long time. I'm gonna feel like that, and it's fine, because when we lose something that meant something to us, then first it means that it's meant something to us, and and second, it hurts, even when you know it's the way of the world, and It's better than that he he went before I went, because I was the dearest thing in the world for him. And now I'm gonna take the best of care of my mother, and I'm gonna do what I need to do, what he we would have expected me to do and wanted me to do, and continue with my life. And I know he was proud of me. I know he was happy with the product of his love and his education and upbringing. But I'm gonna do my best to make him proud. If that means that I will career wise, if and finding love, finding a woman, achievements, and most important of all, just being good to other people and buying good products. um, Over the time, I believe that the good memories will override the bad ones. The bad ones being the ones where he was sick and ill and in need and frail. That will take time, but that's why I remember a life lived to the fullest, driving from Vienna to Berlin, not a wink of an eye. My godfather says to him, "We have to drive from Vienna to Berlin. You wanna switch? You want me to?" My dad, go to sleep. 8 hours, duch, they drive. My father drives. He drives. He drives. He doesn't care. He just give him a wheel. Give him a good car. In the 80s, he had a Alfa Romeo. I think maybe a Giulietta. Maybe what the GTI maybe. GTI or GT. I don't know. It's from the 80s. The car people know it. He always liked cars. He sold he sold an apartment for cash and a BMW in '85, I think. Me myself, I don't care much for cars. Hopefully that won't change now because I don't have any ability to buy any expensive cars. I like the Japanese ones, and I like Hyundai. Obviously, it's not an Alpha, it's not a BMW, it's not a Volvo, but it's a good car. It brings you from a destination point A to point B, and maybe you feel comfortable doing it. What music did your father like? Well, that's a good question. My dad first, he really liked Hebrew music. He liked Israeli music. I can name some names, but it won't. I think it won't tell you anything. Arik Einstein, Shlomo Arzi, Mati Kaspi, and I'm omitting one guy. Yuda Poliker, very big Israeli singers, good ones. But in terms of some music that you will know, my dad was very obviously he liked the Beatles, right? How can you not? When I was a wee boy,
he brought me the Yellow Submarine. It was an animated movie, you know that one. And we had a big JVC um, VHS with a big TV on a big cabinet in the living room, and I would just sit down in front of the TV and I was like, I'm gonna replay that, rewind. I really used to rewind it, play it again and again. Like the music, right? The music was, the lyrics didn't mean anything to me, but we all live in a yellow submarine. I understood that it's a yellow submarine, and the animations were amazing, and also they were a little bit, not a little, maybe more. The Beatles back then, they were in their um, what's the word I'm looking for? Um, that phase, when they were a little, you know, taking drugs, psychedelic science sort of phase, Sergeant Pepper, somewhere again. Excuses, forgive me. I'm not a Beatles, like I love the Beatles, right? But I'm not a big Beatles historian, so but it's somewhere around then. And you had those animations, and I really liked that. And obviously, I like the music. So my dad liked that one. He liked the Beatles. Um, Here comes the sun. Doo-doo-doo-doo, doo-doo-doo-doo. I remember one day when I was younger. I was 20, 24, 20. I was a little wise ass. And I said, Beatles, I appreciate them. I appreciate that they're the Beatles, but they're overrated, because they have all kinds of songs that I don't really, not my cup of tea, like Help, I Need Somebody, like beautiful song, right? But in retrospective, I thought, Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, like, okay, Let It Be. But then I also knew they had like All You Need Is Love, and Strawberry Fields Forever, and then there was this commercial on Israeli TV, and they played a stupid, shitty cover of Here Comes the Sun. And that was my impression of the song. So I thought, I didn't want to listen to it. But then one day, somehow, I talked to my dad. He was sitting in the living room, um, uh, and I was sitting next to him. I was around 37 years old. That was 3 years ago, 2 years ago, and somehow I asked him about, when John Lennon was murdered. Does he remember the day? And he did remember the day, because many people remember where they were when they were informed that John Lennon was murdered, because John Lennon. And I told him, do you remember how Paul McCartney responded when he was told that Lennon was murdered? And he did, the famous interview when they come to McCartney, and he says, it's a drag, isn't it? Or something like that. And then somehow we went to talk about the Beatles, like why did they break up? What happened? Who fucked who? Whose wife? Who hated who? What did Yoko have to do everything with it? And my dad, who's not a guy, not a person who's into gossip, he actually knew. I think George slept with Ringo's wife, and this, that, and that is this, and this, that. And suddenly I was, wait, my dad knows Beatles gossip? Okay. If my dad knows Beatles gossip, then there must be something special about that band. Yeah, I'll post the Ko-Fi just a second. I'm gonna answer you. I'm gonna answer your question, but I will post the Ko-fi. We can get a few lirot out of it. So my dad knew the gossip of the Beatles. So it must mean that they are a profound cultural. There's something different, something unique about the Beatles. If my dad really doesn't care about gossip, really he cares about the music. You just give him. He asked me, "Hey, put this and that, the MP3 on my disc on key. Put it in the. I put it in the car, and I drive, and that's it. That's all I want." And he knows that Yoko and Shmoko and So okay, I talk to him. I go to my room. I open Spotify and I listen to Here Comes the Sun. And something just clicks, and I have tears in my eyes. 3 reasons. First, there is something as there in this world of suffering, in this world of ours, there's something so beautiful as this song, this music of the Beatles. Here comes the sun, like the theme, the lyrics, the George Harrison, the little Oriental, the Indian. I forget the name of the instrument, but he uses those, and I get goosebumps thinking of it. I'm gonna listen to it later. It's almost sunrise here in Israel. It's 4 a.m. Something just and I'm thinking, wait a minute. It's a globe. The Beatles. It's something that my dad knows it. No, my dad knows the gossip. My dad knows that George slept with Ringo's wife, and that Paul fought with John, and that Yoko, I don't know, she I don't know what she did. I don't know anything about. I don't know much about Yoko, really. And the music is just, it's again this Oriental guitar, and how it builds up, and you suddenly I feel that I am accepted into the human experience. Suddenly I am accepted into Western, I don't know, culture, in the world culture. It's the Beatles, it's the Fab Four. This is what Abbey Road. This is what Epstein, Brian Epstein, right? This is what Phil Spector. Not Phil Spector. I forget the name of the producer. George Martin wants me to experience. And I'm crying. I'm crying because it's so beautiful. First, because it's so beautiful. Second, because I was an idiot. I was an idiot because why would I say that the Beatles are overrated? And I will also say that Bob Dylan is overrated. No, he's not overrated. Okay, Bob Dylan is not overrated. He's fucking amazing. And third, because my dad, he knows the gossip about the Beatles, which means I've been away from some very fundamental, elemental, basic human experience, which is the Beatles. And since then, I've been listening to them, enjoying them, again, not religiously. I don't know all of their body of work, but I do love the Beatles now. Thomas, thank you for the coffee. Thank you for the coffee. I appreciate it. Thank you, Bob. Thank you. I appreciate it. What do you think your dad was most proud of about you? The night before my dad passed away, he told me that when he got really sick and I had to be his caregiver, right? Then I just did it without complaining, without crying, without yelping, I just did it. And when I did it, I was the best man for the job because nobody else would know exactly what my dad wants, what he needs, when he needs it, how he needs it. My dad was a very specific type of person. He wanted this served like that. He wanted his medication at this hour. He wanted the coffee with this amount of milk, the omelet at this amount. Very specific. In Yiddish, we call it a Feinschmecker. It's very wants to know exactly how he wants it, and if it's not how he wants it, then he's not happy. So I knew exactly how to do it. Now, it's not that I was a good caregiver. It's not why he was proud of me. He was proud of how I did what I had to do. No whinging, no, just doing it. And for me, it was obvious. It goes without saying that if your parent needs your help when they are vulnerable and when they are sickly and they're suffering, then you help them, right? They gave you life. They created you. They raised you. They gave you everything you need. So it goes without saying that you will help them. They loved you. They made you. They made you who you are. They gave you a home, a roof above your head, food to eat, clothes. They gave you a bed. They gave you a computer. They gave you everything. So it goes without saying, it's obvious that you're going to be there for them. Now, I am not married. I don't have children. I stopped working. I had to end my it's probably permanent, my employment, to take care of my dad. And while it was, not the best of one of the best things I could do, I did it because, getting a salary, right? Taking care of your dad is more important than that. Not that he didn't. He talked to me like he was aware of it and he took care of me, right? But just doing what you have to do. My dad told me my dad told me when I was going through tough periods in my life, when you go through when you have to bite your lip, and move on with life. You bite your lips and you move on. Don't cry about it. Don't whinge about it. Don't be victimize yourself. Just do what's needed, assess the situation, and move on. And I think that was the thing he was most proud about me. He was proud of me, of my character, of how I treated others, of my ability to, my knowledge, of me, that I am very detail oriented. I think God is in the small details. Like I like small details, and he always said, you always love the small details, and he appreciated that. But I think that's what he was proud of me of the most, that I was able to be there for him and for my mother. They had difficult periods, and I helped them, and I helped my friends, and I think this world that we live in, it's this life that we lead. Some are more blessed, some are less blessed. And we have to do what we can, as much as we're able to help others, to reduce the suffering a little, even by a smidge. Anna Frank said, even if you can do anything, right? You can do anything. The least you can do is say a good word. And a good word goes a long way. Does your father support the football team? My father supported. It wasn't like a ultras of any team, but he loved football, right? He loved Premier League, Bundesliga, Serie A, every football match he would watch on his American comfort couch and enjoy. At the time, back in 2008, he liked Chelsea when Avram Grant was their manager, because Avram Grant is an Israeli. He was one of us. He's part of the tribe. He liked Manchester United back in the Alex Ferguson days. Ryan Giggs, Solskjaer, Eric Cantona, Peter Schmeichel. He liked Barcelona, back in, Messi, Javier, Alonso. He liked watching good football. When I asked him, he was watching, I said, who do you want to win this match? And he said, I just want to watch good football. So we just enjoyed the sports, not so much, like, didn't really have a team that he supported. He did have a local Israeli team, Maccabi Haifa, but not ultras, just thank you for the coffee. Thank you, appreciate it. Uzi, yeah, crushing cigarettes at 4 a.m. and telling stories in a dark room. It's not that dark here, but I don't know. Maybe get your cataracts checked. You know, Marlboro Reds. That's actually my dad. You can see my dad back in the 80s crushing Marlboro Reds with a very exquisite German chick. My dad liked Marlboro Reds, although in the later part of his life he smoked Marlboro Golds. That's the ones I'm smoking now. But he smoked Marlboro Reds, yeah. Carolee, peace and strength, this good luck, have fun. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Appreciate it, man. I appreciate your support, and I feel that you you feel me. You know what I'm going through, and thank you for thank you. Just thank you. That's very, very thank you. Just... What was his reaction when you played Kraftwerk? I don't think he really paid any attention to it. He just knew that I liked some some weird band, a bunch of Germans with neat haircuts and suits that think they are robots. Didn't pay any attention to it. He didn't like electronic music. When my brother was making electronic music, he had a little studio, and my dad would come to the room and say like, "Uts, uts, what's this? Uts, uts, uts." Like, this is not Kraftwerk, right? But my dad was a type of not into electronic music anyway. My mother, on the other hand, one of her favorite songs is "She's a Model and She's Looking Good." This was released in 1978, but in 1982 it came out as a B-side to Pocket Calculator, and it was a huge, huge, huge hit. She recalls how she was wearing her Volkswagen Beetle in the streets of Tel Aviv, finding a little parking slot, parallel parking, and it was playing on the radio. They played that song all the time. The Model was a huge hit. That's their biggest hit, although I don't think it's their best song, but melodically, and it's a great song. I can't deny it. The franchise clubs are good people. Yeah, what can I say? I mean, I always appreciate a good Curly session talking about the Gambinos or something like that. Just knew you'd like some crazy German shit. Yeah, my dad's role in my love for Kraftwerk is very important. Why? Because when I was 16, we still have Israeli fans who live in Austria, right? They live in Upper Austria, Oberösterreich. So we would land in Munich, München, and we would rent a car, usually Alfa Romeo, because Dad is Dad and Alpha is Alpha, and we drive from Munich to Austria on the autobahn. Right, it was a 3-4 hour drive, and we drive on the autobahn. And I really like the autobahn. You know, we have the green mountains, the blue skies. It's the summer. The green, the green. You have the green on the side. You have the road itself. You drive on the Alpha, and suddenly you are overtaken by a Ferrari. It's like, you know, like it's the Autobahn experience. And this is exactly, if you listen to Kraftwerk, Autobahn, this is exactly described in that song. So I experienced that I stumbled upon the song, the 1991 version of it from the Mix album when I was 16, right? And I loved it. And then we are driving on the Autobahn. It's summer 2002. I'm drinking a Coke from a plastic bottle. I'm sitting on the passenger seat in the front, and it just sits well. Like it just connects to me that this song is about the experience of the Autobahn. Fun, fun, fun of the Autobahn. Fun, fun, fun. You know. So I don't think he really knew this. He probably knew the song because it was huge in 74. 5, it came in 74, but it was huge in 75 in America and probably here as well. Many people said it reminded them of, fun, 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 Beach Boys. So yeah, I probably knew the song. Probably knew the model as well. But I don't think he really knew Kraftwerk. Now back to the subject, the question. I love music questions. So my dad, Beatles, Rolling Stones, Barry White. You really like Barry White. We listened to him a lot. When I was growing up, I was listening to Barry White through my father and my mother, and I love Barry White. You know, obviously the biggest hit. My darling, I can't get a love, like baby. And you're the first, my last, my everything. And Love Unlimited Orchestra. He liked Stevie Wonder. He liked Ray Charles. He liked Louis Armstrong. I had a Louis Armstrong CD when I was growing up. Listened to it all the time. When the Saints go marching in, what a wonderful world. Hello, Dolly. This is, He liked good music. Definitely he liked good music. Pink Floyd, when I was 16, again, 16, a seminal, different, very important age for me musically. I was playing some game on my computer, IL-2. It's a flight simulator about the Eastern Front, right, in the World War II. And I found in the living room, a cool looking disc, CD disc, with a rainbow on it. I put it on. I don't know. I was curious. You're 16. You're curious. You want to discover the world. I put it on. I play the game. I fly planes in World War II and the Eastern Front, fighting the fascists, fighting the communists, the Bolsheviks. Now listen. What is this? No, Money, it's again. No, I mean, okay, I know this song. Okay, um, the Great Gig in the Sky. Claire Torrey, I believe that's her name. Like, ah, what is this? Whoa, there's music like this. Us and Them, and the moment when it really clicked for me was when Any Color You Like begins after Us and Them. I remember I was just playing that game, I was flying in the air, and I listened to Any Color You Like and said, doo-doo-doo. It was like an experience. It was an experience that only music can give you. Only music can give you this type of experience, right? So Pink Floyd, you like Pink Floyd as well. Earth, Wind and Fire. Earth, Wind and Fire, I remember being a small child. He had big speakers in the living room, not like, and I would listen to fantasy, fantasy. I'm not singing it correctly, but fantasy. After the love is gone, Boogie Wonderland. Bee Gees, obviously, Led Zeppelin. He liked Led Zeppelin. Once I was listening to Ashra. Ashra? Ashra, the Ashra Temple, Ashra, the German krautrock. I mean, the German band, the krautrock band. Ashra, by the amazingly talented guitarist Manuel Gotching. I was listening to their 1977 album, Blackouts, right? Blackouts. My favorite album. It's from '78, and he came into my room and he was like, "I know that song. I know that." What? He said, "I don't know. I mean, it's Ashra." He said, "I don't know who Ashra is, but I know that song." So sometime in the late '70s, I guess my father listened to Ashra. So yeah, he could appreciate good music, I think maybe he even liked Tupac's, like he liked changes, which obviously, I mean, that makes sense, right? It's a very good song. Paul Simon, my dad was in the big Paul Simon concert in Central Park in 1991. He liked Tina Turner. He liked the Walker Brothers. He liked the Everly Brothers, Paul Anka, Elvis Presley, David Bowie. I mean, all the good stuff. All the good stuff. The stuff that dads like, moms like, and generally people who like good music. Fleetwood Mac, the early Fleetwood Mac, and the later ones. No, of course come on, JT, don't say. Of course, he liked Simon and Garfunkel as well. I mean, he was. I mean, Simon and Garfunkel. That was the concert in '81 in New York, right? He was in that concert. It was huge. He said you couldn't you couldn't really see them. It was a stage somewhere, and there are like the billion people, and he was there. So yeah, he liked them. I like Simon and Garfunkel. I like Graceland and the diamonds in the soles of her shoes, and Garfunkel's cover of "I Only Have Eyes for You," right? Beautiful. That was a song that I kept sending to a girl with whom I was in love with when I was 18. She was in love with me as well. I must say, and Stevie Wonder, My Cherie Amour, Good stuff, good stuff. Only the good stuff. Gypsy Kings, Bamboleo. Good stuff. What else? Good type of music. Good type of music. Didn't listen to heavy metal or anything like that. Not rap, hip hop. Although he could appreciate good music regardless of genre. If the song was good, then he would, he would like it, right? Also in the song in the year 2520, that's a song fathers like, that's another one that they liked. Frank Sinatra on obviously. I played My Way in his after the eulogy, but with a twist. I played it with Willie Nelson, a duet between Sinatra and Willie Nelson. Amazing duet. And that was a song very fitting for my dad because he did it his way, and again, the type of man who do it their way, my way or the highway. That's how he came, that's how he went. And he liked Shadows, FBI, dum 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 dum, and Katavina. That's the theme from The Deer Hunter, which was one of his favorite films. And he also really liked The Godfather too. Every year he asked me to download and just get. I want to watch The Godfather 2. So if Dad asks for The Godfather 2, he gets The Godfather 2. I think it was his favorite film. Obviously, he likes Scorsese. He liked Tarantino's films. Thought Tarantino was a madman, but a very, a genius madman with all the violence and stuff. Last film we watched together was actually, I don't know, 9 years ago maybe. It was The Mule with Clint Eastwood, where he's like a retired guy. He's driving a pickup, and he's a drug mule. That movie, I don't remember like if it was that good, but it's a Clint Eastwood film. Is old, is angry, is pissed off, and it's Clint Eastwood, so it's a good play. It's a good film to watch with your dad. Yeah, I can't believe The Mule came out that long ago. I think The Mule, it's from 2018. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. That's when we watched it. It currently has 7 out of 10 in IMDb, 70% in Rotten Tomatoes. It was a good film. This has a Dark Passenger. I don't know. I like Dexter as well. It was good from what I remember. Yeah, it was good. You can't go wrong with Eastwood. Sinatra was the GOAT. Indeed, Mookie like a cookie. Mookie the producer. So we listened to My Way last Saturday. We listened to My Way. We listened the Saturday before My Way and Something Stupid and Fly Me to the Moon. Let me play among the stars and strangers in the night. And of course, if I don't make it there, I'm gonna make it anywhere. It's up to you. New York, New York. My dad loved Sinatra, Mamas and the Papas, and Alan Watts lectures. I mean, well, I mean, that's a good taste, man. That's a good taste. Easy Company once said that Clint Eastwood is the only man he'd be willing to sleep with. Of course, that was before he. That's good. The Shadows were great, yeah. Really masters of the guitar. Uh, Alan Watts lectures, yeah. I used to listen to Alan Watts lectures when I was going to sleep. Something about his demeanor, about his voice, the way, and obviously the content of his words. Just it's good for your soul. It's good stuff. So your dad definitely had, he knew the right, he knew the good stuff. Now my dad, when he wasn't working, right, and when he was retired already because he was sick, then he would always watch TV, everything. He would watch entire shows in one day, like a Pac-Man. He would watch episode after episode, binging. But you just remember the details of every, episode and plot lines. He really liked The Sopranos, although we recently had a debate, a conversation about whether Oz is Oz better than Sopranos, and I said, listen, Oz came before Sopranos. If there wasn't Oz, there's no Sopranos. Now, many actors from Sopranos, the Oz came to Sopranos. Oz paved the way. It made TV what it is today. I think it came in, it paved the way, it set foot, and The Sopranos built the foundation. I heard Robert Moog invented the synthesizer while listening to Alan Watts lectures. That's cool. That sounds very, very feasible. So Sopranos, he liked The Sopranos. We used to watch it back when it was aired in the early 2000s, and his favorite episode, or one of the favorites, was the classic Pine Barrens. Where Christopher and Polly Walnuts are chasing the crazy Russian who killed 16 Czechoslovakians in the New Jersey woods. Obviously, it's an episode that is liked by many, and not for many very good reasons. He liked Tony was, I think, his favorite character. Tony reminded me of my dad, or my dad reminded me of Tony, not because my dad was a handsome guy. He wasn't James Gandolfini handsome. He was handsome in his own unique way, right? But he reminded me of him in the sense of a guy born in the mid 20th century, late 50s, early 60s. He's already in middle age. He did he has some achievements under his belt. He has a family. He has a house. He has a car. He has his TV. He has his cigars. He's he did something in this world, right? And he's content with his life, more or less. So let me look for another photo of I'm gonna share another photo of my dad and me. That this one actually I wasn't aware of its existence until my godfather sent it to me, and the day my father passed away, I received this photo, and it was very it was emotional to watch it, because I never knew it existed, right? I never knew this photo existed. This is my dad and me. I think I'm 1 year old, probably 1 year, maybe 2, 1. So it's a photo. I have it enlarged in an album now. It's a good one. It's a good one. It's a good photo. Yeah, Uzi, my dad passed away last week. That's not, I'm talking about him for 2 hours now, reminiscing and telling about him and his life. Yeah, nice curlies, nice curlies. Yeah, I had curls when I was a little child, and actually I still have, like, my hair is, it's fuzzy, curly. Like, when I wash it, right, and I don't really, I dry a little bit, then it can get curlier. So I always wanted straight hair. I know it's usually the case. When you have straight hair, you want curly hair. When you have curly hair, you want straight hair. Maybe it's a little more of a girl thing. I don't have a problem saying that I'm connected to my feminine side, right? I always wanted straight hair, so I could do a slick back, because it's hard with curly hair. But last few months are just accepting the fact that I'm curly or fuzzy or Jufoy or whatever you want to call it. So yeah, I was curly. I was also blonde when I was a wee baby. And let me look for other auto photos. Do we have any other good photos of my dad? So here's another good one. Not with me, but pretty much a good one. Very dead photo. Very dead photo. Very dead photo. Somewhere in northern Israel. I don't know, maybe northern Israel. My dad on the right, my godfather on the left. Wearing American opticals, of course. Wearing the Arnie, you can see the Arnie. I believe it's 86, 87. By the pool, they are by the pool. You don't see the pool, but as you can see, they are wearing swimming suits, so they're by the pool. And yeah, that's my dad still had hair back then. Currently, at my age, I'm turning 14 less than 2 weeks, and I can't say I have a head full of hair. I am, I have like thinning hair, and the back of my head I have balding, but I'm in a better shape, than that, like in sense of So yeah, I guess I got that part from my mother. My grandfather from my mother's side, yeah, he went bald like very later on in his life. Now my dad, he really liked good clothes. My dad really liked good clothes. So from him, I inherited an appreciation for Lacoste. And here's Dad. Dad wearing. Oh, we cannot wait. I have to remove the ticker, the banner. I don't know where this shirt is today, but I got a few Lacoste shirts from him from the 80s, the 90s. I think he is about 29, 28 here, probably 1984, 1989. 1984, 1995, perhaps 1983. Good looking man, I must say. Handsome man he was. He lost his my dad was adopted when he was a child. When he was a baby, he was adopted. His parents were Holocaust survivors, and they might have sold him. We are not sure. He was adopted by my grandparents, and he was raised with love and warmth. Although his father was a truck driver, a lorry driver. He actually fought in El Alamein. El Alamein, he was a truck driver in the British Army, and the Jews who lived in Israel back then, it was called Mandatory Palestine, right? Eretz Israel, and he volunteered to fight the Germans. So he drove a truck, right? And he had a truck in his civilian life. Grandmother was a mythological teacher for arts in where he lived, and he was he found out that he was adopted only when he was 26 in 1983 when his father passed. And sadly the context was when he when somebody passes away, and then there's the will, and people speak about money and this and that and lawyers and some bad evil distant aunt, I was told him, why should you get anything? You're adopted. It's not easy being an adopted child. You will grow up feeling that you are unwanted. Now, of course, he never felt that he was unwanted because he never knew, right? He felt he was loved and appreciated and hugged and worked by his parents. But still, I cannot understand how it is to discover that you were an adopted child after your parents are gone. I mean, maybe it makes it a little easier, maybe it makes it a little harder. I don't know. What I do know is that my dad always told me that I am the most the dearest thing that he has in his life, and I'm the most roughly translating to Hebrew from Hebrew. It's the dearest thing, the most expensive thing, that I have in his life. And I thought, I thought, obviously, I know that he showed it not only in words but in actions. Everything he needed, every advice, every ride, every help, everything. But when his friend eulogized him, when the Godfather eulogized him in his funeral, Then he said, growing up as an adopted child is not easy. You feel it's not nice. You feel that you are unwanted. And that evening after his funeral, I was looking at this photo, and it's a photo, and like it's just a flash of a moment, frozen in time. But maybe it's that the my interpretation of the image, but you can see in his eyes, how he looks at me. It's a look of love. I mean, again, every dad loves his child, every mother loves her daughter, but it's something that he's a son, a child that he brought into this world out of love, was given all the love he could have been given. He's wanted in this world, and he's cherished, and it sank in. It sank with me on that moment. It was the evening, the first day of the Shiva, when we said for my dad, and it hit me that I was indeed is the most important thing that he had in his life. And picking back to the question asked before, he was proud of me, regardless of what I did. He was proud of me. I was his product. I was his creation. I was his offspring, and I was his. I wasn't. I am not adopted, right? When you are when your father is adopted, right? Then you start thinking, wait, maybe, I don't know, is it? It creates all kinds of. It's fucked up, It's fucked up in the sense that what's going on here, and I never had really never had any real doubt that he, my dad, right? My biological dad. But still, it's something. I was told that he was adopted when I was around 14 years old. And it was an experience to discover that, because suddenly I discovered that I have many uncles and aunts, and I have many cousins. We kept in touch with them for some time, but today only one brother is in touch with us. Like dad's brother, he was a drug dealer. he had drug factories in Guatemala and Mexico. Very nice man. Wears a very nice Longines. Schaffhausen. Not Longines, Schaffhausen, IWC. But now, I never had any doubt that my dad is my dad. But now in the Shiva, again, the custom where family and people from way back when come and comfort you and give you like condolences, then people would come to the gate and they would say, you are his son, right? You really look like him. And I would say, yes, I'm his son. And I know that. I mean, this is me when I was 24. And this is him when he was, again, 20, I don't know, 6, 7. So I think that I don't think I'm up for any surprises. I don't think I am up to any surprises. I'm pretty sure this is my this is my dad. They said the eyebrows, the eyes. Not sure about the nose. Again, I had curly hair. My dad had straight hair. But yeah. So, the last evening when we were talking, it's like he knew, because he told me, again, you're the dearest thing in my life. You did everything for me. I'm proud of you. You bring me comfort. You bring me peace. Nobody else in this world would have been better than you to be with me during this time of my need. You've shown me sides in you that I did not know that you had. Of course, I always knew that I was proud of you, but I didn't know that you are capable of doing what you did. And he also told me that my dad he went through too many hospital visits. I don't want to get too much into it. I want to remember the good things, but he said, "Listen, I wanna finish here. I don't wanna finish. I don't wanna go to the hospital. This is where I live. This is where I know every inch in this place, and this is where I want to end it. Like, not in the sense of just I want to die at home. Good night. Went to sleep. The morning happened what happened. He did end up getting to the hospital, but as far as he's concerned, he went to sleep. He lost consciousness in his sleep. He had hypoglycemia. When I said goodbye to him in the hospital, he wasn't around already. And he kept saying in this last few months, he kept saying, I want to meet my parents already. I want to meet my parents. I want to meet my parents. His parents, his mother passed when he was 17 or 16. His dad passed when he was 26. And he missed them. So as he was lying, on his deathbed, I held his hand and I told him, and I knew that that's what's going to happen now. And I told him, you're going to meet your parents soon. You're going to get your wish. And about 30 seconds after I said that, 0, beep, 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 beep. Not the beep from the movies, just one beep, I think. I go out of the room. The doctors, they already know. They enter the room, and this is it. Now, my dad told me that the only time in his adult life when he cried was when I was born. I believe him. He wasn't an emotional person, at least not on the outside. But he did cry when I was born. That brings me back to how I was the dearest, most important, most expensive thing he had in his life. And it's something that such a deep, profound, so many layers, connection, love, pure love, without any condition, that he has shown me in my almost 40 years of existence on this planet. And I want to believe I have shown him in the same duration of time when he was around, and I was blessed to have him. The people who knew him, my godfather said in his eulogy, he said, Amir's dad, he didn't like people, but when he loved you to the end. Total commitment. And this is in Yiddish you say punkt, right on the spot, bullseye. He wasn't afraid to speak his mind. He wasn't afraid to say what he thought. He was in many ways unfiltered, although he did, he wasn't like rude or something, but he spoke his mind, And when he saw something bad, and he spoke up, and he helped people. He helped people. He introduced people to people who got, who started their careers and met their wives and met friends and was always willing to help. He had a good heart, a good big heart, golden heart. My older brother, who's biologically is a health father, because for my mother's previous marriage, his father was a football player. He's still around, but he's not a football player anymore. He didn't raise him. He was an absent father. When my mom met my dad in late 83, early 84, my brother was 5 years old, 6 years old. He saw my mom, got the heart for her. My mom looked, was a beautiful young lady at that time, and she was dating a doctor back then, a Czechoslovakian Jewish doctor. They went to a party in Tel Aviv, and my dad went to a party with some girl, and she went with the doctor. They met. It was Purim. Purim is a holiday in Israel when you dress up, as in customs, and they meet there. They met at my uncle's house, and they meet there. And my mom gets there with the doctor. The doctor told her, "Listen, you want to get married? Let's get married. But the kid, your kid, he goes to the kibbutz. Goes to the kibbutz. Like back then, 1980s, marrying a divorced woman with a child, divorce plus one, divorce plus two, it didn't happen a lot, So they go. She goes in the club. The club is called. It was called the Colosseum. It was a big round structure by the beach in Tel Aviv. Very, very hot Maine, the hottest, one of the hottest clubs in disco clubs in Tel Aviv. Many celebs, local celebs, international celebs. Grace Jones used to frequent that place. Not the Studio 54, but Grace Jones, 1984. Not She walks in with the doctor. The doctor goes to drink with his friends. She remains alone. She goes to the bar, drinks a Coke, sits down. Suddenly, in the corner of her eye, she sees somebody dressed as a cowboy costume. Turns around, sees my dad dressed as a cowboy. Tells her, "You're this and that's brother, right? You're this and that's sister, right? From this, there and that." She says, "Yes." And who is asking? And he says, "I am who I am. My name, and let's go dancing." She doesn't. She's afraid of men. She's divorced 1 year. She didn't have a good experience with her with divorced husband, but something in the heart says, "Do it." When the heart, the heart and the mind, they don't always sync. That's a problem. A little melody begins playing in the heart, and you cannot stop it. Cupid shoots his arrow, and you're done for. So she goes dancing with him, and they dance into the night. They talk, dance, and talk, and talk, and dance. 5 a.m., 6 a.m. They exit the club. She enters his Alfa Romeo, in which he took out the exhaust so the neighbors will hear. Takes her home, and they get married May 1985. July 1985, they go on their honeymoon in Venice, in Europe, but specifically in Venice. They have a good time in Venice. April 1986, the 11th of April 1986, I am born. And the rest is history. My brother, right? My half-brother, my brother, 6 years old. When they're married, he's 8 years old. My dad adopts him. Now, doesn't officially adopt him because his father, his biological father, just he doesn't come to the places that they need to go to, for the bureaucratic matters that need to be sorted out. But my brother, he grew up, he was raised and educated by my dad. He was his dad in every way, and besides having called him dad. So my dad, having been an adopted child, baby, he knew again how it is to be unwanted. And I think that it says a lot on the person and the character of the person, that in the 40 years ago you are willing to take a woman and take her child, which is not yours biologically, and take them under your wing and raise them and educate them and make them, give them love and a house, a home. My brother grew up with me. He lived with at home until he was 23, 24. Nowadays he's married, he has a child. And when he married, my brother, when he married, he married my sister-in-law, my sister-in-law, right? Who already had 2 kids from her previous marriage. So their dad is not absent in their life, but they live with my brother and his wife in their home, and they have a good relationship, and so he took from my dad a lot. And when my dad passed away last week, I was alone at the hospital. I was alone all throughout this experience with my dad, pretty much, because my mother was totally burnt out from caregiving, and my deterioration of the condition of my father. So I was alone when he passed away. I mean, it was only me and him at his deathbed. But my brother was already on his way to the hospital. So thankfully, and really, this is something I will be thankful for the rest of my life, I didn't say goodbye to my dad alone at the hospital. My brother came, he entered the room, he said some words about my dad. These things are between him and my dad. I said some words. I caressed his head, and we left. Then at the funeral, at least in Jewish customs, the funeral, you have to identify the deceased. So I saw my father again, and the rabbi, the chazan, he pulls the sheet, and you see, and then you sign the little book, and then you with 3 more men, you take the deceased, and then you eulogize him, and then you bury him. And today, after a week of mourning at the Shiva, we went to his grave to say some prayers. And this is the custom. After a week, you say it, right? That you pray that his soul will be in heaven, and he will rest as a tzaddik, as a righteous man, and the God of Israel will bring peace upon the people of Israel and all over the world. And this is my prayer for me, for my mother, for my loved ones, for the people I like, for the fishbowl, for the Archiverse, for the entire world, especially in these times now that any moment now, there could be a missile alarm and I have to go. And yeah, it's really takes time for it to register, in your mind. When a person passes away, I mean, it's my dad, but when a person passes away, a little part of the world ends, a little something. It's big when somebody passes away. An entire life. Yes, it's the way of the world. That's how it works. But it's something that it's hard to put into words. So we remember the good times, and there were many good times. We don't let the end overshadow everything that came before it. And there were good times, happy family, happy wife, happy life, going on trips, going abroad, eating good, watching movies, laughing, And as the time goes on, this is what we will remember, why I will remember. Of course, saying goodbye to my father on his deathbed will always be with me. But hopefully, and I know that, at the time, I remind myself that this is something that many people go through. This is the way of the world, this is the way of the body. And it's a grace for a son to be at his parents' deathbed, so they are not alone, when they leave this world. It's only been 1 week and 2 days. Obviously, I know that I'm very sad. I'm processing everything. I have a lot of processing ahead of me. I need a good CPU. I'm taking good care of my mom, taking good care of myself, even though my sleep is all over the place, and that's understood. And I'm gonna try my best to make this experience, a pad for growth and change for the better, to be more in the image of my dad and who he was as a person and who he wanted me to be as a person. Really, if you can, give your parents a call, your dad, your mom, tell them that you love them, meet up with them, give them a big old hug, spend time with them, go eat, go on a trip. Because once they're gone, it's definite. There's a great big vacuum. There's a great big vacuum, and nothing can come into that void. It's 5 a.m., 5:30 a.m. I'm gonna wrap this baby up and get some sleep. I don't have anything to do today. I'm gonna rest. It's Seder today. It's the first day of Pesach, of Passover. I'm gonna spend it with my brother, my sister-in-law, my mother, my nephew, and some other people. And it's gonna be tough with my without my father for the first time, but we're gonna get through it. I want to thank everyone who watched this stream and commented and has given their words of encouragement and condolences. I posted a video and posts on my page, like text posts. So thanks everyone who has been sent me messages on Discord and emails. I want to thank Thomas Burnett, who for the coffee, obviously, but also Thomas. It's between me and Thomas, but Thomas has sent me something we didn't know at the time, but it's something that my father used. I can say Thomas. It's not. Thomas sent me a beanie last year, 6-7 months ago, and somehow it happened that my dad used that beanie, wore it almost exclusively at the final few months of his life. So thank you, Thomas. Thank you. And thanks, Curly, the franchise club. Curly sent me a coffee, so thank you, Curly, for that generous coffee that you sent me. I'm gonna put that to good use. Curly actually helped me reach my goal. StreamYard goal. So I'm gonna get myself arranged and get myself remonetized, and hopefully I'll be able to go back to streaming like how I like to, and have some side income. You've talked about some of the watches that your father had, the Seiko Arnie, the Bond Seamaster. Did your father have a favorite watch from your collection that you now own or did own?
Yep, my father. He liked my. Let me just show you. He liked my. My GMT Master. That was his favorite watch in my collection. I was thinking of selling it because we came upon tough times and I had to stop working. And he told me, listen, you're not selling it. Do not sell the Rolex. So now I cannot sell it. And I don't want to sell it, honestly. I'm gonna get myself together. I'm gonna rise up and I'm gonna keep it. Because this is what a man's gotta do, what a man's gotta do, right? Hey, you are Kamor. Sorry for your loss. Thank you, man. Shalom D, sorry about your daddy, man. Thanks, Dirk. Good to see you, man. Elvis. Dad loved Elvis. Yeah, man, when my daddy passed, I really didn't mourn until a week after. It takes time to register. One of my closest friends passed a few years ago. It's surreal, yeah. It's weird. It really just takes a lot of time for your mind to adjust to a loss like that. I wish comfort for you and your family. Thank you. PSK 31. Hey buddy, hope you're doing okay. Thanks, man. I'm surrounded. I have friends and family, and I have you guys. And I have my own therapeutic ways to deal with it. I write a lot. I'm writing in Hebrew, and I cannot really translate it in a way that will be faithful to the source, but maybe I will try and I will post it on my not my Facebook. It's on my Facebook. I will post it on my YouTube posts. Yeah, good night, man. My pleasure, my friend. Thank you. Mookie, Cherry Carter, come back. Aye. The birds were farmers. Aye. Lost my father last February. It's a slow process, but together. I'm sorry to hear that, man. Sorry to hear that. Yeah. I know it's gonna take time. It's gonna take a lot of time. I know it will never. There will always be a void. But this is the way of the world. We promise to be nice to you, Cherry. Yes, indeed. Okay. Oh my God. Oof. All right. Thank you all for watching. I'm gonna go to sleep now. So I want to put I want a nice outro, but I can't put any music. So I guess I'll just end it without music. So I gotta have the music. Gotta have music. Good night, and I'll see you next time. Okay, ciao.